Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just the fear that we had going on. And the players obviously were paid $10,000 to $30,000 per fix. But what this does is it hits at the core of the identity in the sport, especially in the modern day betting era.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Hey, daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the prospect of daddy being away, like he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Hour number 2 is here on a Wednesday, which means, I always love this on a Wednesday, right? It's hump day. So the 2 hours Monday, 2 hours Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We are officially at the halfway mark of the show for this week. It's freezing cold here in the Northeast. We're buried under inches of snow. That's not going to go anywhere, it seems like, for the next month. We're just trying to heat things up and give you the sports topics that you need, even if you don't live in the Northeast. And by the way, I think it's going to be freezing cold everywhere in this country by this weekend coming up. And we don't even have any NFL football to watch. So it's our job, Joe, each and every morning to really be the hot stove and get the people the information they need and get it to them quickly here.
That's what it's all about, Donnie, right? Knowledge is power. The more you have, the sooner you have it, the better off and better number you will get. And that is what it is all about here.
That is what it's all about. And if we take a look at the early lineup, the hottest topics across the sports landscape, those Buffalo Bills said, you know what? We got a man inside this building that already showing head coach capabilities. Let's now make him our head coach. Welcome, Joe Brady, offensive coordinator, now head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, 5-year deal. Good luck with that. We'll see how that goes. But my goodness, he does not have, by the way, Joe Burrow, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jamar Chase, or Justin Jefferson on this team. So we'll see what he brings to the table that Sean McDermott could not bring to the table here. And by the way, he is calling plays, Donnie. It is confirmed. He plans on actually continuing to be the OC while also being the first-time head coach. This is going to go swimmingly, I'm sure.
You know, some people look at job opportunities and say there's not a lot of pressure. I have some time to build this thing up for a bad franchise, and there's some merit to that. But now also there's equations like it is Super Bowl or bust, meaning if you go next year, Joe Brady, 14-3 in the regular season and lose in the AFC Championship game, people are going to call for you to be fired because you were brought in to win a Super Bowl. That's a lot of pressure. And granted, Joe Brady probably thinks he can step up to the plate here. He's got a good football team and a great coach. And why not me? And there is some merit to that as well. But also understand this. He has 2 years to win a Super Bowl. If he doesn't, he should be fired. But I think he knows that coming in, Joe.
Well, he better. And again, I think basically this was the path of least resistance, Donnie. Actually, I'm sorry. The path of least resistance would have been just keeping this intact and going out and getting yourself some playmakers. But since they didn't do that, and an emotional owner decided that it was time to move on, well, careful what you wish for, Donnie. We say it all the time, right? You're going to give a 36-year-old a first-time head coach, and he's not going to understand how to delegate and realize that as the head coach, your job is to oversee everything, not just be the offensive coordinator. I can't wait to see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it does. Brian Dable, he was looking at that job for the Buffalo Bills, saying, I might want to throw my hat in the ring there. Turned out he wasn't going to get the job, so he goes to Tennessee as the offensive coordinator for Cam Ward under new head coach Robert Saleh. This is one of those jobs that doesn't have a lot of pressure for either one of the head coaches or the OC. So that is a good landing spot fresh off getting fired by the New York Giants.
And I got to tell you, I love it. It'll give him an opportunity to kind of, re-image his personality and what people think of him as a coach. Because I got to tell you, the stress was getting to him. He did a lot of very weird things down the stretch there with the Giants. So I think he's going to have a lot of talent. They got a lot of draft capital. And like you said, Donnie, more importantly, not a lot of pressure here. And Robert Saleh calling the shots, I think that's a great situation for all involved.
And how good a coach actually is he? Because everybody can say, like, well, yeah, he had Josh Allen for 2 years. It was wonderful. Then he left to go to the Giants. Offense didn't look so great here. Ends up getting fired, and now you find yourself in Tennessee. We'll see what the real Brian Dable can step to the table and see what he can do with that young quarterback. By the way, it can only go up with what we saw in Tennessee last year, particularly from that offense here. Aaron Rodgers, does he want to come back to Pittsburgh? He's definitely coming back if Mike Tomlin was the head coach. Tomlin got fired, but they brought back a coach that runs his system, I guess, to entice him to come back for another year. Mike McCarthy said, sure, why not? Come on back.
So he already spoke with Rodgers. It was learned yesterday, too, as well. And he says he definitely wants him back. So, all right, we'll see. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was non-committal about it, but it kind of felt like I don't think there's going to be a ton of other teams knocking on the Aaron Rodgers door, but familiarity, I think, is important to Aaron Rodgers, Donnie. So the fact that he doesn't have to learn a whole new system, a whole new anything, and has a comfort level there inside that locker room, it could be one final go for Aaron Rodgers.
Tanner Engstrand here got fired as the OC for the New York Jets. Now, also, this is one of those spots where you have a new head coach coming in. It's like we probably have a couple years to grow. We don't really know what we have at the quarterback position. We're going to try a couple guys out, really evaluate before we head into the next year to decide if we already have our quarterback on the roster, Joe, or if we want to go to the draft and get our future quarterback there. Well, Tanner Engstrand goes, well, we were tanking the whole year. You sat my wide receivers, running backs, and even told me I couldn't even have any access to Tyrod Taylor at the end of the year. And, oh, yeah, see what you could do with this kid, Brady Cook. And nobody wanted to win for the Jets here. And that was the goal. At the end of the year, like, hey, Tanner, your offense wasn't good enough, so you're out the door. I mean, that kid didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, this is just, once again, it's the Jets being the Jets, and it just feels like now we've got no offensive coordinator, no defensive coordinator, by the way, because we fired the quarterback's coach, and you don't even have a quarterback for that matter. Now, down the road, yeah, I mean, Steve Wilkes is gone now. So you have basically fired everybody, including the one guy that I don't know what you thought you were going to get offensively from the team that you gave him around him, but it just feels at this point in the game, if you're still firing coordinators, it feels like the dumpster fire has been lit here, Donnie, once again.
Another dumpster fire here for the NFL, not necessarily with the teams playing on the field, because Bill Belichick is no longer a coach in the NFL, coaching in college. But that guy is a Hall of Fame head coach. If you want to put this, I guess, into a landscape of what actually went wrong with Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, just take me back about 20 years ago when Michael Jordan retired. And he showed up and they wanted to vote him as a first ballot Hall of Famer into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And reporters go, he did like to gamble, and he was a womanizer in the 90s. He's a great player, just not this year, Mike. Get out of here. Bill Belichick, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, if you make a coaching award of who's the best coach of all time, his name always pops up, but not enough to be in the Hall of Fame, apparently.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I mean, you can go to social media and see the reaction from other guys that very well-respected athletes, guys like J.J. Watt, Jimmy Johnson, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, go down the list. Even LeBron James. Everybody's like, are you kidding me with this, but my question is, Donnie, so if he is not worthy of a first ballot Hall of Famer because of whatever, does that mean Tom Brady isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer either?
Yeah. Andy Reid's not getting in the Hall of Fame based on this then. That stinks for you, Andy. Like, you have the same trajectory as Bill. You can't really get in at this point, so you might as well not. Joe Gibbs, back in like Joe Gibbs shouldn't be in there, or, Jimmy Johnson. No. None of those guys then. Like, the standard is held up. But so basically we're saying the next coach that gets in better have 10 rings on his finger, because that's the new standard apparently now.
Yeah. Well, they can blame Spygate, Deflategate all they want, but that has absolutely, it's already been debunked and it's already been paid for. I mean, it's already, the penalties have been paid. They found it, but that has nothing to do with the fact that the guy has 333 career wins, the most wins of any coach in playoff history, and 6 Super Bowl titles and 8 trips. Like, come on.
And is there anything wrong? Like, if Barry Bonds gets a plaque where it goes, yeah, he used steroids, and kids will be like, okay, he used steroids, still one of the greatest players. Or Bill Belichick, cheater as a head coach in Spygate here, asterisk under his name. His plaque's still in the Hall of Fame. He's still a Hall of Famer. What's wrong with Pete Rose? Bet on baseball, but still was the hit king. What am I missing here? Am I missing something?
Well, first of all, if you want to send a message, if that's what you're trying to do, then you don't put him in at all, ever. Period. That's the message. Otherwise, it just looks petty and ridiculous, which is exactly what it is.
Aaron Judge, Michael Schumacher, they were in the news for something. Let's get after it.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
This is the fear that we had going on. And the players obviously were paid $10,000 to $30,000 per fix. But what this does is it hits at the core of the identity in the sport, especially in the modern day betting era.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. Yeah. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The NHL news and notes that you need to know on a Wednesday morning right here on the SportsGrid Network. How about this? Thatcher Demko out for the rest of the season after requiring hip surgery. The Canucks have announced here. By the way, clean-looking uniform right there. Love the white pads. Man's not going to be doing any split saves here lately, man. Hip surgery for the goaltender.
Yeah, not great, but neither is Vancouver really at this particular point, Donnie. But you kind of hate to see it here that some of these guys, and there's been a lot of injuries, by the way, in the NHL this season that affect some teams. remains to be seen if whether some of these teams can actually get some of these guys back. But not great there for Demko in Vancouver.
Yeah, looking at the uniform, very tastefully done TD logo right there, which matches the uniform itself. All fits into that Pacific Northwest landscape. The Canuck jersey with the, I guess that's a killer whale on there. Is it so? What is the killer? It's the killer whale on a C. Now, what's the C stand for? Anything on that jersey? Is it just for Canucks as a C?
I believe the Canucks. That's it. That's all I believe. Yeah, I believe that's it, Donnie.
We have to get Gabe. We need Gabe to weigh in on that for us here to get the official look at that jersey and what it actually means with all its patches there. How about Pasta? 900th career point. Pasternak, one of the best to do it in the NHL, Bruin style.
Yeah, it's crazy with some of these guys. It just feels like they've been around for absolute ever. He had a goal and assist last night, by the way, in that overtime win against the Predators. But he's been doing it for so. It just feels like these guys have been around forever, and pretty much they have been. I mean, that's a ton. Think about it, a ton at 900. That number is absurd, Donnie.
How about this? Toronto's William Nylander has been fined $5,000, the maximum allowable under the CBA for an inappropriate gesture in the press box. Now, I saw this. You know what I want to start doing, Joe? Can we desensitize stuff? Like, when did it get, oh, you can't say a curse word on, like, broadcast TV, or you can't give it to fame. What's the big deal? Everybody's heard these. Everybody's seen these before. $5,000 for being in a press box and messing around with a photographer who took your picture? Come on.
Yeah, I know. It sounds a little bit little heavy-handed there, but makes absolutely, especially a guy that this is not a rookie, right? Like, this dude's been around. He's obviously got, like, what are we doing here? What message are we sending exactly with that?
How about this? Could it happen again? Wayne Gretzky left Edmonton here at one point. How about Connor McDavid? Quote, I can be open and honest in saying I think McDavid is leaving Edmonton after this contract. That's by Ryan Whitney via Spittin' Chicklets here. Now, I see a couple logos on that screen here. Maybe it's Toronto. Maybe it's the Kings. Maybe it's the Blackhawks. Maybe it's the Red Wings. No, it's the Flyers. We know all along. This guy's always wanted to be a Flyer since growing up. He'll be a Flyer after this contract's up here. So that's my thought.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's not going to happen. It is, listen, they've been saying this now for how long, right? Ever since he just can't seem to get past the Florida Panthers. Every year we keep hearing how, oh, this could be it. This is done. Him and Draisaitl. Draisaitl got the money. He got the extension. Where is he going? I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. Where, I mean, that would be Doncic-esque, right? If they somehow, Edmonton, let him walk out and sign with somebody else, I just don't see that happening.
I'll tell you, Oilers girl will be very upset if Connor McDavid was able to skip out of town here without signing a new contract there. Tough scene up there in the Pacific. That's what you got. Oilers are the Pacific Northwest. Edmonton, man, your whole life depends on hockey. You can't let the best young player in the sport, I don't even know if he's not even really young anymore, it just feels like he's young, get out of town or out of state, or should I even say out of country here. Let's take a look at last night. How about the Sabres crossing over from Buffalo, United States, into Toronto, Canada? 7-4 victory. Look at those Sabres at 30-17 now.
Yeah, I mean, look at those. It was 5 goals in the first period alone, Donnie. And 3-2. I mean, this game went flying over the total. And just for added measure, they dropped 3 in the third as well. In Toronto, no less. That just almost never happened. But that's what the Sabres are doing right now. They're gaining a lot of momentum. And I think this all started when they fired a GM. And now all of a sudden the Sabres kind of kicked it into another gear and have been a different team.
Scoring is up, Joe. How about this? 27 days, 28 Hatties here. Can we get the 30 before the end of the month, man? Scoring at a premium now in the NHL. Love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, look at some of these scores, right, that you got there. I mean, we won't start seeing the real, the real 2-1s, those types of things till we start getting to the postseason or close to it. But these guys are more than capable of playing enough defense to make it very difficult to score. But on a random Tuesday, Donnie, right, in the middle of the season, you're likely going to get these big hat tricks and big performances.
How about this one? With an assist on Tuesday, Patrick Kane is now tied with Mike Modano for most points by a U.S.-born player in NHL history. I think Modano actually might go back to the Minnesota North Stars here. It's back in my wheelhouse. By the way, Minnesota North Stars, great name. Never should have left, man. Never should have left.
I can't believe he's still playing, though, Ken. Like, that's absolutely crazy that he is still giving it a go here. But kudos to him. I mean, it's the one sport, Donnie, that I thought, man, it's got to be a younger guy's thing. But when you got these guys getting up there, still producing at a high level, it's kind of crazy. And maybe it's something to be said with not having to wear cleats, I guess. Longer careers.
Yeah, no, back in the day, how long, the guys Bobby Hull played or Gordie Howe. I mean, these guys were playing until 75 years old, playing with their kids and grandkids.
Crazy.
It felt like on the ice, and maybe you can do that. Now, Ovechkin, he might play with his grandson at one point now as he keeps on trucking along. How about tonight's action? The New York Rangers and the New York Islanders, the battle of New York City. Minus 150 or so as a favorite here, at least on FanDuel, for the Islanders at home, going up against the Rangers, Joe.
You got to feel good, right? About Islander fans got to be, really, really excited here, right? Because they have really turned things around. They're getting some scoring. They're getting tremendous goaltending. They got their young guy, I believe, getting ready to come up here tonight, the Islanders. So it's, the Rangers can't score on the road. We know this. They can't win on the road. Well, they could barely win at home. So the Islanders, good opportunity for them to get a leg up there on their New York counterpart.
I'll tell you what I do like to see tonight, Joe. Only 3 games in the NHL. All 3 of those games, 7, 7:30, and 7:30. But every one of those totals, 6.5. We love goals. We love the score. And away we go. Polymarket, Kalshi, predictive markets up next right here.
Just the fear that we had going on. And the players obviously were paid $10,000 to $30,000 per fix. But what this does is it hits at the core of the identity in the sport, especially in the modern day betting era.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Basically my co-host on Game Time Decisions, Josh Doe, and is featured so much. And I also want to say this basically now confirms we are the premier Josh Doe network in all of sports media. No way no other show mentions Josh Doe as much as this one. Is that a success? Is that a failure? I don't know, but I think it's true.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Meanwhile, Charlie Baker of the NCAA has planted his flag. He wants to see the end of prediction markets, and of course is a little bit nervous with all of the different stories that we've heard surrounding sports betting allegations of some folks being corrupt out there and maybe some point shaving. It does make some sense here. I just wonder which of the sports betting operators are going to stand with the NCAA.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
But I remember being 16 in high school, being in my school uniform, long pants and a tie, and I deadlifted 200 kgs, so that's 440 pounds. So so that was I actually have a video of it, so it might get leaked somewhere. Someone might be able to find that one.
We might need to get that one to B-roll the show with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We love predictive markets around this place. We love Kalshi. We love Polymarket, a different way to invest your money with some opportunities that other sports books just might not have. And as we take a look at Polymarket here, how about this? Next week, we're going to be coming up upon the trade deadline in the NBA. And this is going to be one of the better trade deadlines because monster names are out there. Just a matter of not if they will be moved. So you can invest in which players will be traded this season. Keon Ellis actually leads the way at 78% chance, up 27% recently here. Jonathan Kuminga, he's told you left and right, Joe. He doesn't want anything to do with the Golden State Warriors. Rebuild, relaunch, whatever it is, he wants out of town. Mikal Bridges, Ja Morant, Domantas Sabonis, and then the big fish on the market, Giannis Antetokounmpo trading at 21%, along with Anthony Davis at 20%. A lot of big names on this list, Joe. Where do we go?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of big names on that list, right? I mean, none bigger, of course, than the possibility of Giannis wearing a different uniform. And yeah, look, I shouldn't say that, Donnie, because over the last couple of seasons, we've gotten some ridiculous trades that none of us ever saw coming. Like, you know, all of a sudden, Doncic is now wearing a different uniform. But guys that will move the needle, it's going to be interesting. I think the teams that are in contention that need to bulk up here a little bit. The Knicks don't have a ton of room, right? So what exactly could they do to bolster here? We know also Detroit finds themselves as the best team in the East. Can they go ahead? They got tons of space and they've got tons of ability to add a big name. But nobody needs a guy more than Golden State, right? And here they are dangling Kuminga out of there, who wants... I mean, it's almost all but guaranteed that he's going to be one of the first guys off the board. The question is, what is Golden State getting in return? Because they need somebody. I mean, there's no way we can take them serious moving forward unless they land somebody big here. And Kuminga's really the only big asset that they have in a trade.
Let me understand if I know how the NBA works as well, which they tend to bend the rules. Let's just say this from Milwaukee. They go, you know what? We're a city here that's not going to attract any free agents. Nobody wants to be here. Like, thank God we drafted Giannis because he never would have came as a free agent. And let's just say they don't trade Giannis at the deadline and say, oh, his injury is really bad. He's not going to play the rest of the season. They tank all the way down, stay in the lottery, get the number 1 overall pick. Then they trade Giannis in the offseason for a haul, and they restart their program. Just like the Dallas Mavericks. Hey, psst. Give LA the superstar that we need. We'll make sure we get you Cooper Flag. Yep. Done deal behind closed doors. I love conspiracy theories, but that's the way it plays out for me. Like, why trade Giannis at the deadline when you have all offseason and get an even better deal where nobody's under pressure to make a move and your team stinks, so you can have a top draft pick also if you decide to keep or trade Giannis?
Yeah. Well, and same thing, right? I mean, is Anthony Davis moving? Probably. I mean, if I'm Dallas, I'm getting rid of Marshall. I'm getting rid of Daniel Gafford. I'm getting rid of anybody who's willing to move it, because that's all about Cooper Flag moving forward. But there are a lot of guys on teams that will have absolutely no chance at anything in the near future. Does Lauri Markkanen get traded from Utah? Nurkic. I mean, there's a lot of names. Michael Porter Jr. What is Brooklyn doing exactly? I mean, there are some big names that can help teams in contention. You just don't know if teams are going to pull the trigger on them or not.
It's like, what is Brooklyn doing every single year? Just like as a Nets franchise, or the Brooklyn Nets, just a lost franchise that never should have been there. Same thing with the Jersey Devils, man. Nope. Never should have had teams over there, the Meadowlands. Kick them out at this point right now. Polymarket, number 1 overall pick in the NBA. Supposed to be Darren Peterson, 50% he's trading at right now. AJ Dibansa, 28%, the superstar from BYU. And then Tunde Yusufu. Never heard of that guy in my life. Could be a plant in there. I don't know. But number 1, Darren Peterson, Kansas.
He's been the presumptive one, but, you know, have we seen enough of him? Because he doesn't he only seems to play every 5th game for Kansas here. But the kid from BYU is also, he's a tough kid. And he's played in all of them, Donnie. That's the bigger part. So, yeah, wouldn't be shocked if he goes first. And keep an eye on the kid from Arizona, Koa P2. He's another one that could sneak up the board.
How about Los Angeles' pro baseball team wins this season? And it's the Dodgers. 100-plus wins, trading at 56%. 105 wins, trading at 45%. And 110 wins, trading at 13%. Last year, we thought it was a foregone conclusion. LA'd win 115 games. They didn't come close to that, Joe. Did they get the 100-win marker this year?
You know, Don, this is every year. The only value in that is saying no. No, a lot can happen in 162 games.
What's more surprising, McCarthy, the head coach of the Steelers, or Bill Belichick, not a Hall of Famer? Let's get to the bottom of it next.
much as the fear that we had going on. And the players obviously were paid $10,000 to $30,000 per fix. But what this does is it hits at the core of the identity in the sport, especially in the modern day betting era.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Basically, my co-host on Game Time Decisions, Josh Doe, and is featured so much. And I also want to say this basically now confirms we are the premier Josh Doe network in all of sports media. No way no other show mentions Josh Doe as much as this one. Is that a success? Is that a failure? I don't know, but I think it's true.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
While Charlie Baker of the NCAA has planted his flag, he wants to see the end of prediction markets, and of course is a little bit nervous with all of the different stories that we've heard surrounding sports betting allegations of some folks being corrupt out there and maybe some point shaving. It does make some sense here. I just wonder which of the sports betting operators are going to stand with the NCAA.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
But I remember being 16 in high school, being in my school uniform, long pants and a tie, and I deadlifted 200 kgs, so that's 440 pounds. So yeah, so that was I actually have a video of it, so it might get leaked somewhere. Someone might be able to find that one.
We might need to get that one to B-roll the show in.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Denied Bill Belichick entrance into the Hall of Fame, at least right off of the bat. Now, Bill Belichick getting into the Hall of Fame, probably going to be a formality, but when you think of which coach should be in the Hall of Fame, the very first one that pops to mind, maybe Vince Lombardi, and outside of that, it's Bill Belichick because of how many times he won and over the past 25 years had a dynasty year after year after year after year after year in New England. But the fact of the matter that the writers hold it against him that he did cheat, and he did cheat, which is okay. But he's still a Hall of Famer. There's no penalties here. Oh, not everybody voted for Babe Ruth, so therefore nobody can be a unanimous Hall of Famer in baseball either. Stop the madness, correct these issues, find out these idiots who voted a different direction and kick them out so they can never have a vote again. Sound good, Joe?
It's just, it's ridiculous. Whether it's the baseball writers or these former executives that they put in charge of deciding who's a first ballot Hall of Famer and who's not. It's just absurd. And for somebody like Bill Polian to be the most vocal in the room about sending, having Belichick serve some sort of penance because of, because of what, happened during it's absurd. Bill Polian never liked Belichick. Bill Polian couldn't beat Belichick no matter what he did with his teams in Indy and Buffalo. But you know what? Somehow or another, at 90 years old, this is the I finally got you, guy in the hoodie. Like, give me a break. It's the most absurd thing. And it's just a terrible look. That's usually what we leave to Major League Baseball in Cooperstown. But welcome to the absolute craziness there, Canton, Ohio, because now you're a bigger joke than they are.
And by the way, Sean Payton probably going to get into the Hall of Fame as the Denver head coach. They say he was part of, Bounty Gate where he can't get in now. And also, how about Drew Brees going into the Hall of Fame where it's like, well, no, you played for a coach who had Bounty Gate a couple of those years. You can't be in. Nobody should be in then because somebody was a part of a scandal somewhere with the franchise that unless they were called out on it, and the Patriots were, and they paid those penalties, but you still way into the mix, all that stuff. If Bill Belichick won one Super Bowl and it was found out he cheated that Super Bowl, I go, yeah, the guy was like a 4-year head coach, stunk, got lucky with the Super Bowl and cheated. He's not going to get into the Hall of Fame. Not every coach that wins a Super Bowl makes it into the Hall of Fame. But when you have that many rings here, chances are like, all right, he might have did some nefarious things, but he probably still won 5 fair and square at that point, right?
Yeah. It's hello. It's kind of, Donnie, it's just amazing to me that we're still seeing it. And again, we've seen this with Cooperstown for years, right? And we've always said, like, this is just absurd. Too many people have a say in this, and every one of them has an axe to grind against these guys, right? Even though none of them, Donnie, have been proven to do anything. And then you have over here where Belichick was fine, the Patriots were fine. Listen, it was investigated, it was settled. You move on. You don't hold that for a guy's entire career and body of work. Either he's worthy of being a first ballot Hall of Famer or he's not. And there aren't many guys who are. But now that if he's not, then how is Tom Brady a first ballot Hall of Famer? Because everything Belichick was accused of comes right back to Brady. So is that what we're saying here? Or do you like Brady more?
Yeah, Brady's a nice guy. He's on TV. Let him go. Yeah, then nobody should be in the Hall of Fame at this point now. Let's take a look at this next one, which I love. Matthew Stafford is going to be the MVP of this previous football season. Matthew Stafford continually tells you how much fun he had on a football season this field, but all on football field this season. But he also is a businessman and understands that, and it's fun to be loved as well. If I come out right away and say I'm coming back to the Rams, I'm sort of out of sight, out of mind. But you know what? My owner is one of the richest in professional sports. My coach absolutely loves me. This fan base and this team wants me back, and I'm playing at an ultra-high level. Yeah, I just got some new money on a contract. You know what doesn't hurt, Mr. Kroenke? Throw a little bit more money my way here before I say I'm actually coming back. And every time I go out with my wife, we're going to be the talk of the town. I wonder if he's coming back. No doubt in my mind, Matthew Stafford's playing this out. No doubt in my mind, Matthew Stafford will be the starting quarterback for the Rams come September.
Yeah, listen, if he wants to play, he will play. And the Rams will do whatever they want him. They'll give him whatever he wants. It's not like, Donnie, there's any questions that they're bringing back Devontae Adams, right? They have everything in place. They just need to fix some things on the defensive side of the ball and upgrade that secondary, and they'll be fine. They'll be ready. The only reason a guy at 37, 38 years old is coming back, Donnie, is because he believes he has a chance to win another Super Bowl. That's it, right? I mean, we've seen this time after time. I got to believe Stafford's not a guy that's going to hang on a year too long, should have retired a year early. I think he is only coming back if he truly believes that he can win a Super Bowl, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about what he thinks of that organization, if he comes back or not.
Mike Tomlin stepped down as being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And some in Pittsburgh, and maybe a majority at this point, are like, you know what? This is going to be awesome. New regime change finally. Love you, Mike Tomlin. Got a little stale at the end. I can't wait to win the day with our new head coach and say, you know what? I'm excited about next season. Those are the easy press conferences that you're supposed to have as an NFL owner. Let me introduce my new coach who everybody can't wait for, and we're going to have so much fun with this, and it's going to be a fresh outlook. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers hired Mike McCarthy as their head coach. Let's get a clip from that McCarthy press conference.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Art. I think I thought at least be able to get started. Oftentimes coaches and players, you put on new team colors, and it takes a minute to feel comfortable in those new colors. But to be blessed beyond any measure, one day to put on the colors you wore since you brought home. I apologize. Brett, I told you not to sit my family down here in front. This is so unfair. When you come home from Mercy Hospital, I do want to thank Art Rooney, Omar Khan, Dan Rooney, and the entire Steelers organization for the trust they placed in me to represent one of the most storied franchises in all of sports. I understand and embrace the responsibility, the privilege, and the weight that comes with this stewardship. This city, this franchise, this fan base means the world to me because Pittsburgh's my world, and it's just awesome to be back here.
So let me get this straight here, Joe. If I read the room correctly, he's crying tears of joy. He's the Steelers head coach, and the Steelers fan base is crying tears of anger because he's their head coach. Ooh, we got a nice little storm brewing out there in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of these moves. But, listen, the beautiful thing about all of this
that choke him
is
up.
that, listen, it chokes. We've seen this how many times? We've seen college coaches do this. We say everyone's crying. Who's not, who did not cry Signetti did not cry at a press conference as an introduction to a new head coach. That's what I want from my football coach, by the way. But listen, I get it. He grew up a native of Pittsburgh, right? He loved Chuck Noll. He was a big Steelers guy. I get it. That's fine. But my goodness, dude, just win some games. All you have to do is win games. And trust me, the Pittsburgh fan base will love you. If you don't win games, yikes, it is going to be a very short run in Pittsburgh for you, my friend. So win and you are in, Donnie. That's basically how it works with fan bases.
By the way, if there's one fan base you're not supposed to cry in front of, is it the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base? Like the steel mill, the steel workers, hardened America out there in the heartland. I mean, what are we doing here for this point? You're supposed to, what would you rather have? McCarthy sit up there, and you know what I would rather him say if I was a fan base? I know a lot of you don't want me here. Give me a chance. We're going to put that Lombardi back up where it's supposed to be. We're going to actually make deep runs into the playoffs. We're going to win big football games, and our offense isn't going to be set in stone like it's 1983. I thought, whoa, I'm going to stand up in my seat right now and give this guy a standing ovation. Instead, you got McCarthy like, I just showed another fan base here that I'm going to make tens of millions of dollars a year, and I'm back in Pittsburgh, and away we go. Oh, come on, Joe. I needed a little bit different at that press conference. I needed a man up there, Joe.
Yeah. And, you wouldn't have seen Tomlin crying there. So maybe they're just going completely the opposite, right? I mean, when you think about it, he's going to be the third oldest head coach in the league now. That's what the Steelers just hired.
Here we go, Steelers. What are they thinking down the middle, huh? What are they thinking there? We'll be right back.
Is the fear that we had going on. And the players obviously were paid $10,000 to $30,000 per fix. But what this does is it hits at the core of the identity in the sport, especially in the modern day betting era.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Basically my co-host on Game Time Decisions, Josh Doe, and is featured so much. And I also want to say this basically now confirms we are the premier Josh Doe network in all of sports media. No way no other show mentions Josh Doe as much as this one. Is that a success? Is that a failure? I don't know, but I think it's true.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Meanwhile, Charlie Baker of the NCAA has planted his flag. He wants to see the end of prediction markets, and of course is a little bit nervous with all of the different stories that we've heard surrounding sports betting allegations of some folks being corrupt out there and maybe some point shaving. It does make some sense here. I just wonder which of the sports betting operators are going to stand with the NCAA.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
But I remember being 16 in high school, being in my school uniform, long pants and a tie, and I deadlifted 200 kgs, so that's 440 pounds. So so that was I actually have a video of it, so it might get leaked somewhere. Someone might be able to find that one.
We might need to get that one to B-roll the show with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
More NFL news and notes. This is an interesting one here. ESPN put out a tweet yesterday, and it reads, Sean Payton said that Bo Nix has a pre-existing ankle condition that made a fracture inevitable in a season-ending press conference on Tuesday. Nix broke a bone in his right ankle in Denver's divisional round win over the Bills. What does that mean? We were all just waiting for his ankle to snap. It was only a matter of time? What are we hearing here?
Yeah. Donnie, I'm kind of head scratching here because isn't this the kind of degenerative issue that you probably should have figured out before you drafted him, or right after you drafted him? How does this all of a sudden come into play in year two? And it's not like, he only played 2 years of college ball. Like, nobody knew this prior. Very strange situation to me. And what are you supposed to do with that now, Donnie, exactly?
I don't know. Maybe is there any other bones that it needs to break before we get to next season?
Right.
So it was a good thing, or this was going to snap at any time. It's kind of an interesting thing. I'd like to hear more about, like,
Crazy.
well, in his career, we thought that he might snap his ankle, or was this, hey, by the way, in the last 3 weeks, we've expected him to break his ankle. That's why we got Stidham ready. I don't know. But how about the New York Jets? I don't know what world they think they live in where their head coach and their disaster organization was going to be like, you know what? The perfect offensive coordinator is John Gruden here. Gruden's like, yeah, no, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, Gruden's about to own the NFL here. Yeah. He's going to own the NFL before it is all said and done here. But I think he did consult with the Saints, too, I think, this year. So he's kind of had an outside influence, but obviously he's got a big lawsuit going in against the NFL, which is, by the way, moving along, and every ruling that comes down comes in his favor. So there could be a settlement in the near future here. But, I mean, would anybody argue he's still probably one of the best offensive minds in football? I mean, you can do worse than having John Gruden in the room, especially with young offensive players.
Man, and how about this? His agent probably got the phone calls like, hey, what do you think? Jets, nice little match here for John Gruden. He's like, hey, you know what? That's a good match. Yeah, we meant for offensive coordinator. New phone, who this? Click, boop, dial tone right after that. Stop the madness. He'd listen to the head coaching job. I'm going to come in and be an offensive coordinator with no head coach that you want to actually, perform under. More specifically, who the heck is your quarterback here? Stop the madness. Funny story altogether. How about the Chargers? They got their OC. It's Mr. McDaniel. Let's go to that press conference. Get a quick clip up.
What's
here.
up? Not really an opening statement guy, but I will open with this statement. I'm fired up to be here. Family's fired up to be here, and shoot from the hip with whatever questions you got.
Like, just to start out, what attracted you about this job?
There's a lot that I found very attractive. I was very fortunate to have some opportunities, but I think it started with Coach Harbaugh. Then to be a part of an organization that has a legacy. Talking about Sid and Eric Coryell, that's super attractive too. Got a quarterback who I've always admired, and just a lot of young players. Great situation for me and my family to go to the next chapter, which we're very excited about.
Capri pants do fit in well in L.A., though. Like, he's going from a good climate to a good climate, though, Joe. He really is.
I was going to say, Donnie, I mean, it's a good fit from Miami to San Diego. It's kind of perfect for him. And listen, I love the hire. I really do. I think the guy is he showed me a lot here as the Miami head coach. And more than anything, he showed a willingness to evolve as an OC and as a head coach and change everything that he was known for to fit the players he had. And, that's the mark of a very good coach, Donnie, because they don't all do that. It's my way or the highway, right? Well, yeah, he changed everything about the Miami Dolphins based upon personnel and not just his system.
How about Diego Pavia lying about his height here? Back in high school football, 1995, we had Williams, our running back, Jeff Palmer, put inside his windbreaker actual weights there and thought he'd get away with it because it would look a little bit better if he weighed a little bit more. People always have a fascination, man. I need to be heavier. I need to be lighter. I need to be taller. But Pavia says they've doubted his size his whole life. Well, yeah, everybody did. You lied about it.
Well, I mean, when you claim you're 6'4", and I'm watching you on TV going, how tall is he? Like, what is, he's standing up next to some absolute monsters, and you're going, oh, is he even 6 foot? No, he's not. But listen, it doesn't discount, right? Not everyone's got to be 6 foot to be a good quarterback in the NFL, but, don't try and sell us that you're 4 inches taller than what you really are.
You know what you should buy here, Joe? Look nice on that mantle for you at home. You could show it off to everybody. Kurt Signetti's game-worn headset from the 2025 National Championship game. Current bid, $11,500. Coach Sig's headset here. You can listen in on what a national championship really sounds like.
Well, judging from the amount of Indiana fans that showed up here at Hard Rock Stadium and paid 10 grand a ticket or more, I'm going to guess they can afford that headset, and it'll look good on a alumni's mantle for sure. But who are we kidding, Donnie? That picture right there, that is going to be the #1 Halloween outfit this year. I promise you.
By the way, you know, sometimes like in the media right now, they talk about like paid protesters. There's a lot of fans in the stands for all these football games for Indiana. But when they won the national championship, Joe, went home to their own stadium, like 3 people showed up. I'm starting to buy into this fan base not being real. Were they paid? Were they paid to go to these games?
I'll tell you what, last night they had the ceremony before the Indiana-Purdue game at Assembly Hall there. So apparently Signetti's winning rubs off onto the basketball team now, because that was a big win against Purdue last night. So, yeah, I mean, the guy just wins. Google him if you haven't already.
You know, for decades in Indiana, like all that NIL money, which again, NIL hasn't been around for decades, but the focus of the Indiana sports program was always through their basketball, good or bad. And they have the best football team in the country here. Does that basketball team be like, hey, man, our charter flights don't have steak on it anymore? Yeah, that went to the football team.
Yeah, and well, maybe they can afford a new Assembly Hall, too, because that thing is ripe for a bulldozing and rebuild there, because those stands are just people views blocked from the pill. Like, what is going on? Like, come on. Give us a new Assembly Hall with all that money.
You got 2 chairs on each side of the arena and then 10,000 on each side of the arena. Doesn't make any sense at this point. But hey, that's Indiana basketball. It is what it is. We'll be right back to shut it down next.
This is the fear that we had going on. And the players obviously were paid $10,000 to $30,000 per fix. But what this does is it hits at the core of the identity in the sport, especially in the modern day betting era.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Basically my co-host on Game Time Decisions, Josh Doe, and is featured so much. And I also want to say this basically now confirms we are the premier Josh Doan network in all of sports media. No way no other show mentions Josh Doan as much as this one. Is that a success? Is that a failure? I don't know, but I think it's true.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Meanwhile, Charlie Baker of the NCAA has planted his flag. He wants to see the end of prediction markets, and of course is a little bit nervous with all of the different stories that we've heard surrounding sports betting allegations of some folks being corrupt out there and maybe some point shaving. It does make some sense here. I just wonder which of the sports betting operators are going to stand with the NCAA.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
But I remember being 16 in high school, being in my school uniform, long pants and a tie, and I deadlifted 200 kgs, so that's 440 pounds. So yeah, so that was I actually have a video of it, so it might get leaked somewhere. Someone might be able to find that one.
We might need to get that one to B-roll the show with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Hump Day Wednesday, we got the information that you needed. One more segment to go. Best bets, trying to give out some winners here. We'll take a look at our Fade the Public poll, but also understand this. Like, I'm sometimes craving just for warmer weather, and sometimes golf delivers that on TV where you see the luscious landscapes where they're at now. But also, when superstars come back into the fold like Brooks Koepka, here's Brooks talking about coming back to the PGA.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. We are beyond excited to welcome Brooks Koepka to the interview room here at the Farmers Insurance Open. Brooks, we're excited to have you. I'm going to go right ahead into questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. I'm going to get a mic to you. Doug, we're going to start with Doug Ferguson.
Do you, Brooks, along with trying to figure out who half this field is, since you probably don't know them, this being your first tour event since 22, does it feel like you're just resuming, or does it feel different? And if it feels different, how is it different?
I think it feels a little bit different. I'm definitely a little bit more nervous this week. Just coming back, but it feels good. I'm super grateful to be back. Yeah, there's a lot of guys I don't know. Over the past, I guess, 3.5 years, there's a lot of new faces, but excited to meet those guys and it feel like I'm part of the tour.
We're going to go right up here to Dan Rappaport.
What did you miss most about playing on the PGA Tour?
Yes. It's a good question. I think the ability to have my family out all the time. I think that was one thing because they didn't travel too much over the last few years, but like they're going to be out this week, so I'm super excited to be able to have them out.
But by the way, that's got to be a lie. That's got to be a lie answer. Because Live Golf was founded on everybody's getting their own jumbo 747 private jets with chefs here, and you couldn't fly your wife to London or Singapore at that point. Your family couldn't be there. And by the way, it's only a 3-day tournament, and we play like once a month here. I don't buy that answer, but it's an answer he had to give.
Yeah, it was the right answer to give, and it took him a little while to get there, Donnie, which tells you everything you need to know about his expecting of that question there. I mean, I wish he just would have been like, yeah, I'm super excited to come out here and just destroy these so-called golfers on the PGA Tour. That would have been absolutely fantastic.
Yes, it would have been here. Now, fantastic time to reach out to the public with one of the easiest questions you're ever going to answer. Here's our Fade the Public poll. At SportsGrid on X, where you find us Monday through Friday answering these questions on the help that we need. The question was, should Bill Belichick be in the NFL's Hall of Fame? Yes, clocking in with well over 85% currently of the votes. No, just a lot of haters out there. Come on now. Easy question to the yes. No?
No, I'm sure those were the voters in the room there. How 11 of them felt that way, that he shouldn't be in on the first ballot, is hilarious here. But yeah, listen, public, I am all with them here, Donnie. I think it might be the easiest question to answer of all of the Fade the Public poll questions we have had. The answer is simply yes, and he should have been in on the first ballot. 11 people finding a way not. Like he was a fringe candidate? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Like he's Jeff Kent out here. Good, decent little second baseman here, getting voted in by the veteran writers 30 years later. Stop the madness here. Now it's time to win some money. Here's our best bets. Bye, bye, bye. Take the people down victory lane, Joe. Where are we going tonight?
Well, Donnie, we're going to go back to college hoops here tonight. Even though my Red Hawks won, they could not cover the spread last night, but they remain undefeated. But I'm going to go and continue to fade the Baylor Bears tonight, they are a hot mess, this team. And the Cincinnati team, who had to travel out west Arizona to get embarrassed there in the second half, no shame in that. Well, what Cincinnati is very, very good at home. They're 10-2 at home this season. And one of those losses, by the way, was a 67-60 loss to Houston. So no shame in that either. This is a team that loves to defend. They bring the pressure. And Baylor is a team that struggles to do anything consistently. So I think Cincinnati's defense, the fact that they're home, I like them to be able to win and cover this game, the 3.5 here tonight.
Go Bearcats for me. I'll flip it over to the NBA tonight. Toronto up in the 6. I'm taking the Raptors -1.5. Why? This line opened up at 1.5 overnight. Still sits at 1.5 at most outlets, despite only 35% of the tickets coming in on the Raptors. Let's stay hot in the NBA. Raptors for me, -1.5. Thursday, we'll be back. Of course we will. See you tomorrow morning for another edition of the Early Line.